Hi there, students. In this video, I want to look at two words that sound very similar. Ascetic and aesthetic. Ascetic and aesthetic. Okay, these are both adjectives. You could have adverbs as well. Ascetically, aesthetically. Okay, so notice the difference between t and th. Okay, something that is aesthetic, it is something that avoids the physical pleasures of life, living a simple life without all of the adornments. A hermit may well live an ascetic life, yeah? Whereas aesthetic, beauty. An aesthetic object is a work of art that shows great beauty. This architecture has great aesthetic value. Yeah, it's the aesthetics, the beauty, the shape is very beautiful. It's very artistic. So, ascetic, avoiding the physical pleasures of life. Living in a very meager way. Yeah, many religious people live ascetically, whereas aesthetic is talking about beauty. Aesthetically, this picture is very beautiful, whereas this other picture is very ascetic. It's very plain. It doesn't show physical comforts. It's a plain and simple living. Okay, so ascetic, somebody who lives an austere life, austerity, whereas aesthetic, relating to beauty, artistic. The musician had a real sense of the aesthetics of sound. So discriminating, cultivated, refined, and beautiful. Okay, so ascetic, somebody who renounces the material comforts of the world and lives an austere, self-disciplined life, particularly as an act of religious devotion. Like that, if you're ascetic, you can't be distracted by worldly pleasures, the pleasures of the world. Okay, so if an ascetic is somebody who abstains from everything, they are very Puritan. He put aside the luxuries of modern living to live an ascetic life. Priests very often practice an ascetic life, self-denying, recluse, rigorous and austere, Spartan, self-disciplined as well, very abstemious. Whereas aesthetic, so notice, aesthetic, aesthetic. And that's the difference in sound. Okay, so aesthetic, related to beauty, it's very artistic. This building has some very beautiful aesthetic features. Yeah, the design was very aesthetic. Yeah, aesthetic. It was very beautiful. Yeah, so art, beauty, music should be aesthetic. Yeah, it's her face was very aesthetic. It was very beautifully proportioned. It had great proportions. It was beautiful. It was ornamental. It was pleasing, artistic. Yeah, decorative, tasteful, beautiful. So the things that we have in our homes, normally we choose them on either on an aesthetic basis because they're beautiful and they fit in, or maybe because of their practicality. But the best things are practical, durable things that are also aesthetic. Yeah, they're artistic, tasteful. Okay, so aesthetic, related to the discipline of aesthetics, rigorous self-denial or self-discipline, abstinence. Yeah, you could have a noun, ascetical. Yeah, and let's see, ascetic. This is really quite a formal word. I would give it maybe, no, not so formal. I give it a 6.5 or a 7 in formality. Um, let's see. Would I use it in an informal conversation? I think not, because I think people would confuse it with aesthetic. Okay. Yeah. Austere, abstaining, denying themselves physical pleasures. And then aesthetic. Okay, again, this is probably ever so slightly formal again. I think I would probably give it a 6 or a 6.5 in formality. This one, I think you could use in an informal conversation, yeah? Although beautiful, artistic might be a better word, yeah? Okay, as to origin, ascetic itself comes from ancient Greek asketikos, yeah? Okay, ascetes, a monk or a hermit. Okay, so yes, a monk or a hermit is very abstemious, whereas aesthetic comes either from aesthetic in German or esthétique in French, but both of those come from aesthetikos, a sense of perception in ancient Greek, from aisthenomai, I feel in ancient Greek. So, ascetic, very simple, very Puritan, without the luxuries of life. Aesthetic, beautiful, with beautiful things. This is aesthetically appealing. Maybe something ascetic can also have an aesthetic beauty. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Ascetic and aesthetic.